hear me? Good evening, everyone. Okay. Can anyone hear me? Good evening, everyone. Can anyone hear me? Good evening, everyone. I want to confirm if you guys can hear me and if you guys can see my screen. Okay, awesome. Can you guys see my screen as well? Hope my screen is visible. We can't see your screen. Okay, we can't see you. You can't see my screen as well. You can't see your screen, okay? You cannot see your screen, that's fine. Okay. Okay, someone said I can see your screen. Okay, you guys can hear me, but you can't see my screen. You can't see you and your screen. Okay. Just a minute. Okay. I think it's up now. You guys should be able to see it now. Hope you guys can see my screen now. I think it's up now. Okay, we can see your screen now. Okay, awesome. Okay, yeah, good evening, everyone. How has been your day? Hope you guys are now coding very well, right? Okay, so someone said, so yesterday, apologies on that, right? So yesterday query has not been sent, right? So apologies on that, right? So yesterday query, today's query will be sent together to you guys. So apologies on that we didn't send yesterday on, right? Right. So I'm sorry about that, right? It's actually from my hand, right? Actually from my hand, but I will send together with today's one so you guys can receive it, right? Okay. Okay, I think let's go straight to today's business, right? Let's go straight to this business so that we can be able to cover the task for today, right? So that we can be able to cover the task for today, right? And apology accepted. Okay, thank you, Adeyeba. Right, thank you. Okay, so yesterday we started the join, right? We're trying to join tables together, trying to join employee and salary tables together, right? And I believe some of you gotten the step and some of you did not get it right. For those of you that have gotten the step and you understand to some extent, right? Good luck. And for those of you that have not really understand how how join works in SQL, I want you guys to pay attention, right? I want you guys to pay attention so that I'm going to start all over again. I'm going to join employee table and salary table together, right? So I'm going to start all over. So I want you guys to pay attention. And if you have already understood how join works, right? Fine, right? But some of you that have not really understand how it works, I want you guys to pay attention, right? I want you guys to pay attention. So I'm going to do that. Okay, right? Now, so from the beginning of the class, right, we've been able to create 3 tables, right? Create 3 tables, right? Create employee table. Okay, sorry, let me put my okay. So we've created employee table, right? This is employee table, right? Then we've created employee table. Then we also create salary table, right? Salary table. Then we also create payment table, right? So there is a need for us to join all these tables together, right? There is a need for us to join all these three tables together, right? And so let's say for instance, right, you have employee table, you have salary table. Okay, so let me run the two tables together, right? So you have these two tables, right? Employee table and salary table. Then employee table contains staff ID, first name, second name, gender, date of birth, hire date, and state of origin, right? Then the salary table, right, contain staff ID, or salary ID, staff ID, first name, last name, department, and what? And salary, staff salary, right? Now we want to join employee table with salary table. We want to join the two tables together, right? I want you guys to pay attention. We want to join the two tables. Join, as in we have two tables. We want to join them together, right? If you understand that, that's good, right? Joining two things together, like when husband and wife join together, they become one, right? According to Bible, right? Some of us are Christian, right? If a Christian, right, is a husband join wife, they become one, right? Now, but mathematically, 1 plus 1 supposed to be 2, but according to God, he said 1 plus 1 is equals to 1. Now, here we have two tables, right? So we want to join table A and table B together to become one table. So they want to marry themselves, right? The two table want to marry themselves, right? That's employee table and salary table. And there must be a cordial relationship, right, between these two tables, right? That must, because before you can join the table, just like before husband can marry wife, there must be love, right? They must love each other. That love is like they are like a unique identifier, right? That serve as that can use that they want to use to join them together, right? Let me put it like that. So here, right, so there must be a unique identifier, right, we are going to use to join these two tables together, right? And like we said yesterday, that unique identifier is what? Staff ID, because staff ID present in both table, right? There's a staff ID in employee table, there's a staff ID in salary table. So that's what we are going to use to join these two tables together. Now, and like I said yesterday, right? So for employee table, right, it has how many columns? It has 7 columns. It has 7 columns. Salary table, it has 6 columns. Now, from employee table, how many columns do we need? Right? Like we mentioned yesterday, we need only 5 columns. Staff ID, first name, gender, hire date, and state of origin. This is just columns that we need from employee table. We've written it out, right? We've written it out. Then from salary table, salary table has 6 columns. Salary table has 6 columns, and we need only 2 columns there. That's department and salary. That's just only 2 columns that we need from salary, right? So we need 2. Now, so that 2 columns from salary to join 5 columns from employee to make 7 columns, right? Right. So that's what we did yesterday, right? So I'm going to rewrite the column again. I'm going to rewrite the join query again, right? I'm going to delete this, right? Let's delete this. So, and I said, before you can, when you want to join two tables together, right, using their column, you must make reference to the table's name. You must what? Make reference to the table's name, right? Now, you said select, right? Select. Now, let's pick the 5 columns that we need from employee first. Let's pick them. Let's pick the staff ID, first name, gender, hire date, and state of origin. Let's pick that 5 first, right? Okay. Now, so you're going to say employee, right? Dot. What? So you must put dot there. The table name first. The table name first. Then dot. The column. The table name. Then column, right? So the first column we want to pick there is staff ID. Staff ID, right? So that's the first column, right? Then comma. Now you've picked the first column. The first column has been what? The first column has been picked, right? Has been picked. Now, the next column we want to pick is first name, right? First name, right? So I will also say employee dot first name, right? Comma. I believe you guys are following, right? Now, the second column to pick is gender, right? Gender. So employee dot gender, right? Then the fourth one is hire date, right? The fourth one is hire date. The first one is hire date. So you're going to see employee, right? Dot hire date. Right? Comma. Then the last one there is what? State of origin. Then you say employee again. That's the table name. Dot state of origin. Right? Comma. Now, we've picked the 5 columns that we need from employee table. We've already selected those 5 columns that we need from employee. Now, the 2 columns that we need from salary, let's pick it now. So we say come again. Now, this time around, we're no longer referencing employee table now. We are now on the second table, which is salary. So going to come here and say salary, right? Dot. We want to pick department, right? Department, right? Comma. Then salary, right? Dot. We want to pick what? Salary. Now, you don't need to pick, if you look at the both table, we have first name, second name, right? In both table. So you don't need to pick, if you have picked first name in the first table, in the employee, you don't need to pick it, you don't need to come to the second table, that's salary table, to pick it again. No. Right? No. So we pick first name. So some people yesterday were asking, why don't we pick second name? Why don't we pick all this? See, whatever you want to pick it. But for what I'm doing in this class, this is what I want to pick. When you are practicing on your own, you can pick as many you want to pick. Right? You can pick as many. And your table can still be updated. Right? For instance, now we pick first name. We can still come back again and pick second name. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, so we pick everything. Now, what is the next thing? From which table? That's from, who can tell me from which table? Someone say, why are we putting dot? It's a must you put dot. It's compulsory, right? It's compulsory to put dot, right? Who can tell me from which table now? From which table? From employee, thank you. From employee table, right? From employee, right? Then want to join. Now, the next thing you need to do is join, right? So which table are we joining together with it? We are joining salary table, right? Salary, right? Now, we are joining salary. Now that we have picked all the columns that we need from the both table and it's from employee table, then join salary. Now, let's now write a query that will now create the relationship, right? And I said, on what columns are we going to join them together? On what column are we going to join them together? Who can tell me? Who can tell me that? On salary and salary ID and employee ID? No. No. On staff ID, thank you. On staff ID, because we have staff ID in both tables. We have salary ID in salary table. We don't have anything ID. What we have there is staff ID, not employee ID, right? So at DB, we have employee ID. You can also use employee ID. But what is common to both party is a staff ID, right? So always use what is common to both party, right? Now, so we now said on. So the first thing we're going to do is that we're going to say on salary, right? Dot staff ID, right? Equals to, is equal, because the staff ID is found in both tables. So you use equal sign. So you use what? You use equal sign, right? Anywhere, anytime, anywhere, is equal sign you're going to use to join them together. Then on the other table, that's employee table. Employee table, right? Dot staff ID, right? Okay. So now we are good. So let's try and run it together now. Yeah. So the two tables has been able to join together, right? Now, so the two tables has been joined together. As we now have staff ID, first name, gender, hire date, state of origin, department, salary, right? Now, let's say for instance, this is just like a request from maybe the HR, right? Then you can now export this to Excel and send it to them. Now, I think we are good now. We are clear now. Now, let me explain something now. Before we now go into inner join, left join, right join, and full join. But let me explain something. If you look at this employee, when you run employee, it has 18 columns. Sorry, 18 rows, right? Employee table, it has 18 rows, right? Then the salary has 16 rows, right? The salary has 16 rows. Now, when we now execute this, right, it gave us 15 rows, meaning 15 rows that was returned was only found in both tables, right? It only finds in both tables. So other information not found, it will return it. Are you getting me? It won't return it. Now, so that takes us to type of join, where we now have inner join, left join, right join, and full join. Now, let's start with inner join first. So I'm going to write, I'm going to take this because it's occupying a lot of space. I'm going to do this one like this, right? Right. Then all right. Um so now I'm going to copy to this one, right? Then paste it. I don't need to rewrite the query again. So now we want to do inner join. So let's see what inner join will give us, right? Now, during my explanation of inner join, so inner join will only return the record found in both tables. Inner join will look at table A, table B, whatever record is found in table A, and that the same record also in table B. That's the only record you will return. So inner join and the ordinary join is the same thing. Inner join and ordinary join is what? Is the same thing. Right? So let's look at it. Right? So you can see. So yesterday when I was using join, some people were confused, right? So inner join and it's the same thing, right? Someone says, sir, can we join 3 tables together? This person, Temitope, calm down, right? Calm down. We are getting there. Right? If you understood how 2 tables work, let people that have not understood, let them understand first before we go to 3. Right? We are getting there. I know you understand the how 2 works now. You want to move to 3. Yeah, we are getting there. Now, then let's look at outside. Let's look at the next one. We've done inner join. Let's look at left join. Left join. Right? So I'm going to put left join here. Right? Now, I believe you guys understand what left join is during the walkthrough section, right? Now, I'm going to run this. Left join is that how it works, that it will look at the, let me see if I have this open down. Okay, right. Let's quickly see the table, right? So I believe you guys can see the screen now. You guys can see the screen. Now, someone said that I should recap inner join. Inner join is from what is on the screen now. Yeah, inner join will look at A. Right, you look at table A, you look at employee table, all the record found in employee table, and that is you are using staff ID, right, to join these 2 tables together, right? The staff ID found in table employee table, and that the same ID also found in employee table. It will return their informations. So under informations that's available in employee table, but it is not available in staff salary table, it will return it. It will exclude it. So any information or information found in salary table but not found in employee table, it will discard, right? It won't return it. It will exclude it, disregard those informations, right? So that's how inner join. But now let's look at left join. Now let's look at from definition. That the SQL left join return all the values from left table and the matching value from the right table. Then you can see it what it will return everything in the left table. So let's say for instance, our left table is employee table. It will return everything in the left table. Then it will now look at the matching value from the right table, which is salary, right? It will return it. But if there is no matching join value, it will return null. So let's look at, so that's noted because I won't come back to this place again. Now look at the right join. The same thing. Right join just like opposite. Right join is that right join return all the values from the right from the rows of a right table, from the record of a right table, and the match value from the left table. Right? You guys have these materials. You guys should just, it's as simple as that, right? You have the materials. So it will look at the rows of values from the right table and the matching values from the left table. So if there is no matching in both value, what will happen? It will return null. Now let's go back to our studio and let's execute now. Now let's execute this left join. Now you can see that this return how many rows? It returned 18 rows, right? Someone said, how do you know table is left or right? See, your right, for you to know, it execute first. During execution, you will know the one that is left or right. From here now, you will know that employees is the left, right? While salary is the right, because employee is the right. Is employee, your first table will be left, your second table, which is salary, will be right. Then your first table, which is employee, will be left, right? This one is the left table and the right table. Okay, let's continue. Right now, if you look at left table now, when we use left join, what happened? It returned 18 rows of data. Now, if you now check 18 rows of data, you can see that if you look at the record number 7, you will see null, right? Meaning it returns all the, okay, let's go and run employee table first. How many rows is employee? You can see that, employee is 18, right? You can see the employee is 18. So when we execute this, it will return all the record. It will return all the record in the employee, then return the matching value in salary. So where there is no matching value, it will return null. So where there is no what matching value, what happen? It returns null. So that's the why you can see null, 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 null. Right? It means these three staff, they don't have a record. They don't have any record in the salary table. Right? They don't have record in the salary table. Are you getting me? So they don't have his record. So that's the reason why. Now, if you now switch to right table, right join, and like I told you, salary is the right table, while employee is the left. Right? Now, let's copy this query and paste, then change it to right join. Right join. Right join. So we change this one to right. Now, by now, you guys now understand what is going to happen now. Before we run this one, your focus now is on the salary table, right? Now, let's go and check how many records of data do we have in salary. We have 16, right? Now, let's see what's going to happen. Now, let's run this. Now, it will return all the record in salary. It will return all the record in the salary, right? Now, but any matching value, any value that is not found in employee, it will return what? Null. So that's why you can see null here, right? So it means this person, we can find his information in salary, but it doesn't have any information in It doesn't have any information in what they call in employee table, right? It doesn't have any information in the employee table, right? Now, the the oga patapata of them all is full join. The general overseer of them is what? Is full join. Now let's look at the full join. Full join, right? Full join. Now, so let's see what will happen when we try to use full join, right? Now, full join return 19 rows. You know, full join return 19 rows. And if you check employee table, it has 18. It has 18 rows. Employee has 18 rows. Salary has 16 rows. But when we use full join use what? Now return 18 rows of the data. Now, look at what full join see. These guys here, right? They don't have record in salary table. They don't have record, right? There's no matching value. Now, this guy is here too. He doesn't have any record in the employee table. So, for you to know which staff or how many staff that our record are missing, either in employee table or salary table, the best thing to use is full join. The best type of join to use is full join, right? Full join will show the record that are not found in both table, right? The best to use is what? Is full join, right? Okay. Please, let's pay attention. People are saying they are ghost worker. When you guys are supposed to pay attention. Everybody is running his or her own race now. Whoever that is a ghost worker. Okay. So I think we are together, right? We are good now. So I want to know before we proceed. Yeah, someone say mine is 19 rows. Yes, if we use full join, it's going to give you 19 rows. Full join will give you 19 rows, right? So now, so like I said, so if you want to like audit your staff, right? If you want to know staff that maybe their record are missing in particular departments, right? Use full join to join them together. You will know those that our record are missing, right? You will know. Yes. As is that. Yes, does means full join is the combination of both, right? Yeah, yes, it's a combination because it's the one that will not, when you use right and left join, if records are not found in those tables, it will return none. But when you use full join, right, you will see those that are missing in both tables. You will see those that are missing. So full join will be the best if you are doing audit. You want to do audit, full join is the best to use, right? Okay, so please just read materials. So all these arguments that no, it is inner that we do. Okay, right? So let's leave that, right? Maybe when you guys go to your different group, you can. Okay, right? So let's now try to join three tables together. So someone was asking, why are we not joining the three tables together? Now that you understood how you can join two tables together, let's see how three tables can be joined together, right? Now let's see out how it can be joined together. So, right now, we're still going to use the same query, right? But we only update it. We're going to use the same query, but we'll update it with payment. So join three tables, right? Now, okay, so let me do one thing that I did the first time, right? Like this, like this, like this, right? Now, so let's say for instance now, for instance, you have this table, right? And you want to send this table to, okay, you've already sent this table to your manager, and the manager now push back. You send me a table that has a employee record, state of origin, department, salary. So do you want me to pay their salary into my account? Please go back and add their salary, their bank name, and their salary and payment method. So, are you getting me? Now, with this, the information you have here is not complete. Someone is asking other what circumstances we want use right or left join, right? It depends on what you are doing. It depends on what you want to, the result you want to get, right? Now, let's say for instance, if there are no, let me give you a real life scenario that I just did like a weeks ago, right? I actually joined two tables together using left join. Using what? Left join. So what happened was that there are no null value. So all the informations are completed. All the informations are what? Are completed in both tables. So the reason why I now use left join is that we want the other table to be at, we want the information of the other table to be at the left, right? So that's why we use left. Okay, we want this information to be at the left. So when we executed, there's nothing like none, because before we even join the two tables together, we've checked that there are no none value. Now, because the data we are using is a dummy data, created by ourselves, so we can't expect 100% accuracy of this data, right? It's a dummy data we created by ourselves. So if you are working in real life, right, and you want to join them together, the output or the result might likely difference. And in peradventure too, it's even in a real life, it happens that you can see a non-value. And what we are talking is not different from what is going to happen in real life. So if there are non-values, it's for you to now send a mail, okay, there's some ID found in employee table, but they don't have a record in other table. Can they, you can just ask them to update their tables in their department. Let's say, for example, like this salary is in finance department. So let finance update staff salary table in their department, or they send the information to you and you as a data analyst, then you update it from your hand here, right? So you update it from your hand. Depend on how it works, right? Now, okay, so like I was saying, right? So you have this record, staff ID, first name, gender, hire date, state of origin, department, salary, right? So you send this thing to your supervisor, right? And it push back to you that, okay, I need other informations like bank, account number, bank name, account number, payments method, right? And you discover that that information is in another table. So what you need to do is to now update your SQL query, right? That will now accommodate the additional 3 columns. That will now what? Accommodate additional 3 columns. So that's what we want to do now. So this time around, I'm going to join payment table now with these 2 tables already. So for instance, we listed the columns from the salary table first, then include the columns from the employee, right? Will our salary table become our left? So whatever you are putting as a first will become your left. Whatever table you are putting first will become your left table. Then the second one become right table, right? Okay, so what matters is the part of the from employee left join salary. If you put salary first, after from, I believe that's what we determine, right? Okay, in your okay, that's not for me. Must serve ID be the first column of the employee table before you put the salary. Serve ID should be the first, right? Should be the first, and you can decide to move it to the middle, but at least it should be the first, right? Because it references both table, right? I wanted to ask you the reason why using. Thank you, sir. I actually want to ask the reason for using join table in real life scenario. Yeah, the reason why we are using it here is the same reason in real life, right? The reason why we are practicing it, if it is not happen in real life, eh, I won't come here to come and be teaching you join, right? And whatever I'm teaching you here is from real life. I'm bringing to is it fake life we are living or what? So whatever that's happening in real life is the experience I'm bringing to come and teach you guys, right? So like a question that someone asked me today, that is SQL really important? I don't know. I can't remember the way the person asked the question, right? That is SQL really important in real life? And I think I answered the question by saying that why a bank spending over 300 million to just host a database? Why bank? Why every organization have a database? Why? Why do we have a database? So why regulatory body like NCC sanctioning MTN because they couldn't provide a database for subscribers, right? Why are they sanctioning them, right? If database is not important, and how do you access your database, right? It's by writing queries. That's how you can access your database, right? Okay, let's proceed, right? Because of the time, right? Now, so in the payment table, now let's check our payment table, right? So the payment table, we have payment ID, account number, staff ID, bank, and payment method. So what your supervisor said he need is just account number, bank, and what? And payment ID. So we now need these 3 columns to be joined with other two tables that we've joined together. So just come here, right? So press now payments table dot bank, sorry, account number first, right, comma, then payments, right, dot bank, right, comma, dot payments dot now payment method. Yeah, so you need these 3 column. Now what we now do, you now come back again. This time around, okay, let's sort of start with inner join, right? Inner join. Now, you now come again, you come here, inner join. Which table? Payment table, right? Payment table, right? Now, I want to know who can tell me on what staff ID equals to what staff ID, right? Okay, someone say on payment, right? Thank you. On payment, right? Dot staff ID. We are still using staff ID, right? Equals to what? Equals to employee, right? Equals to employee. Equals to employee. Okay. Now, dot staff ID, right? Okay. Let's run it and let's see. Okay. Now, so you can see. So with this now, at least the finance department can be able to process salary. With this, at least it now has account number, there's account number, there is a bank, there's a payment method, there's a salary, and then if you need that department, there's a department, then there is first name, there's a gender, hire date, right? You can also use payment ID dot payment ID now equals to, but this time around you will not use employee, you will now use salary, because salary has a salary ID, right? Dot salary ID. Let's run it again. Okay, but the difference is just that this one is giving us 14 rows, while when we use employee, it's giving us 16 rows. So I'm just saying that you can also use the ID. That's the ID, because we have a payment ID, we also have a salary ID. So you can also use to join them together, right? So, but let's switch back to, I'm going to use staff ID. Right? Okay. So this option, this here, you can use employee ID, employee staff ID. You can also use salary. You still get the same thing, right? So this is how three tables can be joined together, right? Is it possible to join the three tables together at once? That's what we are doing now. That's what we are doing. Okay, sir, you are too fast. Okay, sorry about that. Please, sir, is inner join same thing as ordinary join? Yes, it's the same thing. I said it. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Okay, so let's recap the three join, right? So the first thing is that before you write your query, right, have the picture of what you want to do. You can paint the picture, right? Okay, what do I want to do? I want to join three tables together. Okay, I've joined two tables together, right? Then I want to join the third table together. You can just close your eyes and have the picture, right? When you have the understanding of what you want to do, that will help you to write your query, right? It will help you to write. So, but if you don't understand of what you want to do and just proceed start writing your query, you will not get the query, right? But have a picture of, and that's why I took my time to explain, just explain, right? That okay, you have a data, you have a report that you send to your supervisor, right? To your line manager, right? And he pushed back that okay, this report is not complete. You need to include their bank details, and you discover that the two tables you have joined together, bank details are not in those table, right? That's a pushback. So you do now that okay, these informations are in another table, So you now need to update your query with those three columns, right? You need to update your SQL query, the SQL query that you've written to join the two tables together. You need to update it, right? You need to update it. So, and that's what we are doing, right? Now, so now you now need to check, the payment table. How many columns are there? Then how many columns do I need? And remember that your line manager told you you need their bank's detail. So their bank details comprise of the bank account number, the bank name, paraventure, payment method, right? Paraventure what? Payment method. So he needs that. So you guys get. Now, so now that you have written the query, so what you just need is to update the query with additional three columns from payment table. Just the way you've written the query for two tables that you initially joined together. You just update the query by now saying payment dot account number, payment dot bank, payment dot payment method, right? Then from employee, inner join salary, then on salary. So you've already joined the two tables together. The addition that just joined the additional of the three. So someone asks, can we join the three tables as the same together? Yes, it's still the same thing. If you have all the information you need, you can join the three tables together at the same time, and it's still the same thing, right? Right. So that's how three tables can be joined together. Someone is asking, can we write the inner join payments query on the same line with inner join salary? Why did we have to write the inner join payment? See, the reason why I'm writing it like this, that's the best way that you guys can understand it. If I put everything on the same line, it becomes tedious. It becomes clumsy for you guys. So that's why I'm saying I'm putting it line by line. When you now become professor of SQL, you can decide, see, I can decide to put everything here in one line. I can decide to put it anywhere, anyhow I like it. But the reason why I'm putting it like this, so that you guys can understand it, and this is the best way, right? This is the best way. You can see that I'm putting it one after the other. The first thing I did is employee.staff ID, employee.first name. I first of all selected the one for employee, followed by the one for salary, then followed by the one for payment. So that's the best way you can understand this, right? Now, from employee, then inner join. So you join employee table with salary table on salaries dot staff ID equals to employee staff ID. Then the third table in a joint payment table on payment dot staff ID equals to salary dot staff ID. Right? So that's why I just put them. I can put everything, right? Come here again. Right? But to me, it doesn't really make any sense if I put like this for you guys. You guys will not understand. So that's why I'm taking it line by line. Right? Okay, thank you guys. Okay. Now that we understood how to join two tables and three tables together, I want to show you guys something, right? There's one of you guys that posted this thing on LinkedIn. I saw it. When I saw it, I said some of you guys are how should I put it? Some of you guys are just extremely good, right? Are extremely good, right? Look at what the person did. If the person's on the call this night, he will just like, right? Now, let me just use the two table to explain it, right? I want to join employee, right? This employee table and salary table, right? I want to join them together. But I don't want to write employee. I don't want to write employee. So I will just put E. I don't want to write salary. I'll just put S, right? I don't know if you guys understand it. So let me quickly show you guys how that works, right? Before we go on break, right? So I'll come here, right? So they call it on query optimization. Query optimization. They call it query optimization. I want to optimize my query, right? So I'll just come here. So I'll say select, right? Instead of writing employee, I'll just say E dot staff ID, right? Okay, so let me just copy the query because of the time. Let me just copy any one of the query, right? Right, this is what the person did, right? Which I like the spirit, right? Right, so instead of writing employee, so you just say E, right? Just E. That E represents employee, right? Right, like that. Then instead of writing salary, you just write S, right? You are fine, right? Then from employee, now because you want to optimize your query. So that's the essence of this. We call it query optimization, right? So instead of that, you now say from employee, the query or the how should I put it now? It doesn't understand what you are trying to do, right? So you need to now put that E at the front like this. You need to put that E at the front. So whenever you execute, anywhere you see employee, anywhere you see E, it means employee. Anywhere you see what? E, it means what? Employee. Then here you put S at the front. You put S at the front. Now, then you come to this place, reduce this one. Then you come to this place, reduce this one. So you must put S, don't just like alias, right? But it's not actually alias, right? Just put E at the front of from employee so that when you execute, anywhere you see E, it means employee. Anywhere you see X, it means what? Salary. Now let's execute. Here you can see. So we call it query optimization in case you want to optimize your query, right? So you can just so when I saw the lady on LinkedIn, I just wow, this person is in spirit and is even far. Some of you guys have gone ahead. Like I always say, because I check you guys post on LinkedIn. I checked, and I know that some of you guys have done what I've not even taught you, right? And like I said, it's not everything that we will teach you. It's not everything, right? But the basic one, the important one, we will touch it, right? So let's go on break, right? Let's go on 10 minutes break. Then when we come back, we talk about SQL view, which is very, very important. We talk about SQL view, right? Before we now go to, I don't know if we should do union, but let's go on break. When we come back as the spirit lead, right? I think our break is over. Let's come back to the class, right? Our break is over. Let's come back. Let's come back to the class. Right, so let's come back. Let's come back. Can you guys see my screen? Okay, not yet. Okay, not yet. Okay, let's just hold on for the technical to bring it up, right? Okay, let's just hold on. Let's just hold on, right? It will soon be up. Okay. Okay. I think you guys should be able to see my screen now. Okay, thank you. Okay, so when you guys were on break, right? I checked some of you guys feedbacks on this group, right? So I think I picked one question that is someone asked, right? So he said this short form might not work in case where you have like a table with the same name, right? Maybe you have a table with the same name, right? Maybe it might not work, or table that starts with the same name. Let's say you have a store, a table called store table, and you have another table that is a storage table, right? It's still or school table. So it is not necessary you should use a letter that starts a starting letter. It's not necessary, right? You can use any letter. Like I use S, I can use A, I can use A. Okay, let's look at it. Let's look at it. Now I don't want to use E. I want to use P, right? I want to use P. Right? I'm going to use P. I'm going to use P, right? Then for the salary, I'm not going to use salary. So I'm going to use A, right? I'm going to use A. So the most important is here. Here, let's make sure you represent whatever the letter you are using. Make sure let employee represent that letter. At least let's if A, whenever you execute, right? Since we are using P, so anywhere you see P, it means it's what? Employee, right? Anywhere you see what? P, it means what? Employee. Then for salary, it is A, right? Then you can come back here and put A, right? And come back here and put P, right? Let's execute. Here you can see. So it still works. So you can pick any letter. Pick any letter. Right? Someone is saying it is better we use employee not to confuse ourselves, sir. There's no way you can please human being, right? Yeah, you can use anyone, but you are the developer, right? You are the SQL developer, right? Make sure whatever the short form you are using, you know it that, okay, this is what I'm using, right? You can use the starting letter, but I think the question the lady asked is a valid question. Is a valid question. You might be dealing with a table that's the same name: store, storage, school, right? Employee, right? So you can have a candidate, that you can have those tables with the same name, right? You can, so in that scenario, use any letter. You can use any letter. It is not necessary you use the starting letter, right? And if you are a type that you want to be conscious of what you are doing, you don't want to be confused, right? You can use your starting letter. Use the starting letter, right? But moreover, in a scenario where you have a table, two tables with the same name, so what do we do? The ball is in your court, right? Okay. Now, before you guys go on break, so we're contemplating whether we should start SQL view or we should go with union. So what is going to happen is that let's go to union. Let's do union, right? Then I'm not sure if we are able to do we're able to do SQL view, because SQL view is very, very important, right? But if time permits, we'll go to SQL view. If not, then maybe our next class we'll talk about SQL view, right? It's very, very important. But union and union all is also what? Very, very important. So let's look at the, can we use number to represent instead of letter? Please use letter, don't use number. Please use letter, don't use number. Can you use number instead of use letter? Don't use number, right? Use, right? So once I prefer starting the letter, right? Yes, yes, if that's what you prefer, it is fine. But like I said, I'm not going to repeat myself. If you find yourself in a situation whereby you have storage and store, so what do you do? Okay, so let's go to union versus union hall, right? Okay, so for this one, we're going to quickly create a table. We're going to quickly create two tables, right? Now, before we create the two tables, right? So let me paint a scenario for you. I want to paint a scenario. Ladies in Tech Africa, right, is a training hub, right? You guys register there. Ladies in Tech Africa, they have so much money and they venture into e-commerce business, like store like ShopRite, which other store do we have again in Lagos? Just Right, different shopping mall, right? And they have branches all over Lagos. Branches in Marina, Lekki, branches in Iyanopaja, branches in Epe, Abule-Egba, Ikeja, Surulere, Egbeda, and Gbagada, and so on like that. So they have a branches. They have a litter store, Epe, litter store on Marina, and it is the same database, the same table you guys are working with. If you are a sales rep, you are a sales officer at Marina branch, the same table. If you are in Lekki store, the same table you are working with, right? If you are at Abule-Egba, the same table. Then we now have head office at, okay, someone say Boku, right? So no, we are not doing SQL view, we are going to union, right? Union on. Then we now have head office of litter store, maybe at Abeokuta or Redeem Camp. That's where that is the headquarter of litter store, right? And that's where they now have a data analyst, the IT guys, the database administrator, the data engineer. That's where they have them. They have them at headquarters. So it means every transaction that happen at different branches push them to headquarter, right? They push them to headquarter, just like the way ShopRite, they have different branches, right? And automatically they will have headquarter where the back end headquarter where the IT guys works on the transaction data, right? So this is where Union comes in order to merge all these tables together, because it's of the same data type, the same number of columns, right? And they need to union them together for them to be able to calculate transaction, total transaction, total sales, total revenue per day, right? Okay, so we want to create a two table. So we want to use that liter store, right? So let's create. So we're going to create a table, right? Create table. By now, everybody should be able to close your eyes and create table. By now, you should be able to close your eyes and create table. And don't tell me that now, when you want to create a table and you still can't find your table, it means you are still using MasterDB, right? So we're going to call it liter underscore store. That's the name of our store, right? Now, so we're going to create the table. We're going to create a table for one branch, then we'll replicate it for other branches we have in Lagos. So let's say, for example, we are creating a table for our Lekki's branch, right? So I'm going to call it liter store underscore Lekki. That's Lekki branch, right? Right. Then open brackets, right? So, guys, because of the time, I've already created this thing, so I'm going to copy it because of the time and paste it, right? So this is the table. So the table has customer ID, right? That's a customer ID. The table has first name, that's a customer name. The table has last name, that's customer last name. The table has a customer gender. The table has customer age. The table has a customer's address, and transaction amount. How much does each of the customers spend in our store, right? How much they spend in our store. So we also have that, right? Then the data type for customer ID, I use int, right? Then for first name, I use varchar. I can just change this one. Let me just change this one to max, right? Let's just put it like that, right? Right. Then the customer gender is male or female. I use mvarchar. That's a non-variable character, right? Then age, I use int, right? Age should be int, right? And then for address too, I use varchar, right? I use varchar. Then transaction amount, the data type I use decimal, right? I use decimal for data type, right? And I put it in 18.2, or let's put it in 18.4, because it's a transaction. We want to see the four decimal places of the amounts, right? So that's fine. I think you guys understand what I just did now. I'm trying to create a table for liter store for one of our branch in Lekki, right? I'm creating a table, right? So I believe you guys should understand that, right? Okay, so I'm going to execute this. Let me drag this one down. So I'm going to do this, right? Now the table has been created successfully, right? Table has been created successfully. Now let's insert into table, right? So like I said, I have it here already. I'm going to copy it, right? Now I'm going to insert into table, right? Let me see if I can reduce this to 150. Okay, so we call it, the branch we created is Lekki branch, right? So we're going to change this one to liter. That's Ladies in Tech store. The name of our store is Ladies in Tech Africa store, right? So we have one. So let's say So I'm trying to create a table for our branch in Lekki, right? I will now replicate the same table for other branches, right? Now, so I'm going to execute this to insert. Now, I didn't declare primary key. There's a reason I didn't declare any primary key here. I didn't declare, and there's a reason for that, right? I didn't declare any primary key. So I'm going to, right, click as insert, right? Okay. Right, so 11 records. So I've been able to insert 11 records into the table we just created now, right? So let's check. Let's check. Okay, so this is it. Now, this is the table. This is how it looks like, right? This is how it looks like for, this is the table we'll be using, right? So we have customer ID, first name, last name, customer, gender, age, customer address, then her month. Now, so we have different branches all over Lagos, right? So we're going to replicate this, the same table, but it's going to be the different information, but the same table, the same data type for all our branches, right? MVACA is a data type. I think I've listed all these things for you, right? MVACA is a data type. Someone that's asking, what does MVACA? MVACA is just the same family of variable character. It's still the same thing. It's a data type, right? Okay, and now the reason why I'm a bit fast is the table I'm creating. We've created a table. We have shown you guys how to create a table. So that's why I said it earlier that creating a table shouldn't be difficult for you guys now. Creating a table shouldn't be difficult. Something that you guys should be able to do, right? How to create a table. So that's the reason why I'm a little bit faster. So when I get to the place where I'm going to write a SQL query out to so I'm going to slow. So I'm creating a table. We've created a table several times. Okay, so sorry about that. Now, we've successfully created a table for Lekki branch, right? We want to create another, now we just want to copy this, copy the table and paste it for another branch. Let's say, for example, Marina branch, right? So I'll come here, right? I'll come here, right? I will now change this. So the only thing that we're going to change is the name. So this one will now be Marina branch, right? Marina branch, right? This is going to be Marina. You can see that it's still the same customer, the same information, the same table, but different table name, right? Customer ID, first name, last name, the same name, the same data type, right? So but the only difference is that the first one is Lekki branch. This one is Marina branch, right? Now, so I'm going to execute, right? So we've been able to create two table now for our branches, the one in Lekki, the one for Marina, right? In your case, you can create as many, right? In your case, you can. What if the value you want to insert is over 2,000? Will you have to manually input? See, this question that this Blessing David asked, we are getting there. When you have the thousands of rows of your data, we are getting there. Yeah, it's a good question, right? We have not gotten there. That is when we get to import and export of a table. You can import table into SQL, you can export. So we've not gotten there. Just focus on what we are currently doing now, right? Yeah. Because in real life, you cannot manually put this. Yeah. But there's going to be an application. I think you guys, you've been to store before, right? You've been to Just Right, Just Right. You know, forgotten this one. This big ShopRite, right? You've been to a store. When you get to a store, you buy different products, and they enter each of the products that you bought, right? those data, where does it go to? It goes to the database. But this is the back end. This is the database, right? This is the database. But it is important for you to know if you want to design a database. Let's say, for example, after your training now, maybe it might be your project. I can say, okay, design a database for a store. I can say design a database for a store. So if you don't understand how to create table, how will you be able to design a database? Or you can get a freelance job and a freelance opportunity that someone will reach out to you. Oh, I know that you just finished. Can you design a database for me? Right? And now it might be tedious, right? It might be somehow, but you should be able to know that, okay, for what type of sector? Okay, for e-commerce, right? Okay, e-commerce, you should have a tables, customer ID, customer name, customer first name, customer second name, products, all those things like that. Then you can also create another table for products itself. Okay, different products we have in our store, right? Different products, Coca-Cola, Orlando yogurt, different drinks, right? You created that table, right? So these are the things that you guys need to understand, right? Okay, so now we've been able to create table for Marina and then for Lekki. Now let's insert information into our Marina, right? Marina table, right? Okay, so right, I have it here for Marina. Okay, sorry guys, let me. Okay, so I'm going to change this one to liter store Marina, right? Liter, right? Marina, right? Then I will run it to insert, right? Right, so 13 records. So in Marina table now we have 13 records. And remember in the Lekki we have 11 record, right? So let's check. Select from liter. Right, so we have 13 record, right? Okay, so now we can create many stores. And let me tell you guys here, if you have 15 branches in Lagos, right, you can union all the branches together. So I'm just showing you two. If you have 15, so let's say for example you now work in headquarters as a data analyst, and at the end of the close of business, let's say for example um today's Friday, right? All the transaction that happened yesterday, that's Thursday, so at the close of the business, they push it to the head office, right? And you are the data analyst working on merging, union, or join all those things together, all those transactions together, right? So they push everything to the database. In the table here, so you have the table. You now have, like, in the table you have the one for, right? Sorry, guys. So you have the one for Marina, Lekki, Ojuelegba, and so on. Like, and you want to write a single table that would now union them together, right? So that's what we want to do. I don't know if you guys were together. I want to know, are we together? Let me know before I proceed. Okay, 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 okay. Thank you. Okay, thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. So you can, let's refresh to see our table that we created. Okay, so you can see the table that we created: store, liter score, Lekki, liter score, Marina, right? So you can see that we've created, right? Now, so let's, so at the end of the day, all the transaction has now been pushed to the database. So you all needs to go there, right? You all need to what? To go there, query those transaction that has been put to the database, and what? And work on them. You know, that's going to be, okay, we didn't add, that's supposed to be a date column, right? That's supposed to be a date column. So because that date column will actually talk about, I will actually talk about um transaction date. Supposed to have a transaction date, right? Maybe when you are creating on your end, you can add transaction date to it, right? So that whenever they are pushing there, you know that, okay, this transaction is for 19, this one is for 18, this one is for 16, right? In real life. Okay. Now, so you've checked the two tables, right? So this one select, right, or from liter. Now, so this is the two tables, right? For Lekki and then for Lekki and Marina. Now, you guys should understand that they have the same number of columns. And when you want to union, like I said, they must have the same number of column. They must have the same data type, the same number of column, the same data type, the same number of column, the same data type, right? Are you getting me? The same number of column, the same data type. Please, it's very, very important, right? Okay. Now, so this is it, right? We now want to write a query that is going to union them together. So you're going to come here. So I can still just do like this. So I'll still use the same, right? So I'll just come here. I'll just put union, right? This is that. Row doesn't matter. Yes. Who is that? Yeah, row doesn't matter, but column is matter. Row doesn't matter, but column is matter, right? You can see that the Lekki's own, it has 11 rows, and the one for Marina has 13. When you add them together, that's 24 rows, Abi, right? Let's check again. 11, that's for Lekki. Marina, that's 13. Now, if I union all together, it should give me 24 rows, right? 24 rows, right? At least with this now, they will be able to now calculate the total transaction amount for that particular day they are working on, right? With this now, they'll be able. So let's say, for example, they have 15 branches in Lagos, right? You can union all the branches together. Union all the branches together and now do your total amount for particular day you want to work on, right? So this is union all. So union all, we union everything together. It will not remove duplicates, right? Right. So let's use union. So like I said, union will what? What's the difference between union all and union? Who can quickly tell us? If it doesn't have the same number of column in the table, Can we still know? Like I said, is a law. Is a law, right? Is a law. When you say something is a law, is you have to, if it doesn't have, then you have to now look at the way to do that, right? You have to look for the way to do that. If it doesn't have the same number, right? But when you are union all, if you read about union and union all in SQL, right? Union all add duplicates while union don't, right? Thank you. So now if you look at it now, when we execute the query that has a union all, it will return 24 rows, right? Now let's execute the one that has union. You can see it returned 19 rows. So it has removed duplicates. So it means that there are duplicates there. So it has removed duplicates. It has what? It has removed. Duplicate has been removed. Right? So nothing like duplicates. Right? Nothing like duplicates. Right? Okay. Now, so I think this is clear, right? This is clear. Right? You can see, let's say for instance, you don't need customers first name and last name, right? So you can still do something like this, right? You can still select customer ID, right? Customer gender, right? Maybe you don't need customer age, then, but you don't need customer address. So what you just need is transaction amount. Maybe your analysis is just based on customer gender. We want to know the percentage of customer that are male and that are female, right? So that's what you need from all the tables. You can just come here too, right? So do this here, and so that's the only thing that you need from the both table. So you can just do the same thing. So you can see. So for your analysis, this is the only thing you need: customer ID, customer gender, transaction amount. I don't need the customer's name, the customer address. I don't need its age. I don't need it, right? Okay, someone is asking, how do you collate the data from different branches, right? Is it that you have to go around the branches in this technology era? I have to, maybe I work in head office. The head office is at Redeem Camp. So I have to now go to Lekki to pick data, go to Aja, pick data, no, right? Like I said, there is an application. There is an application, right? There's an application that has been built at front end. The front end, you just enter data at the front end. As you press submit, the data goes to where? It goes to the back end. So the back end is this database. So maybe at the end of the day, or as the sales rep, or can I call them sales rep, as they are attending to each customer. I don't know if you guys I've been to this shopping mall. I look at their system, the way they do it. Right? I look at their system. Immediately they want to attend to me. After they've input everything I bought, I use my card to pay and everything. They press enter before they will attend to the next customer. So immediately they press enter, right? What happened to those transactions, to that data? It goes to the back end. So peradventure, the back end is your SQL Server database, where you now spool your reports. Right? That's how it works. Like, I think I was telling someone among you guys today that, for instance, if you go to a bank, you want to like withdraw from your account, right? You fill a form. The form has your name, the amount you want to withdraw in words, in figure, the date. They ask to put your BVN, then you sign. You give it to teller. The teller go to the system, right? The teller will just put your account number. Your account number will bring out the name that you fill on that form. It will bring out everything about you using your account number, and the customer enter the amount he wants to withdraw, and he press enter. Automatically you are debited and you see alert immediately. Those information that has been captured, where does it go to? It goes to the back end database. That is that if tomorrow you now come back and said no, I did not withdraw, they can go back to the back end, pull your data for you. Oh, you were here. Or if you can send a CCTV is also there. You were here 3 days ago to withdraw this amount, Abi. You see your ghost, right? Someone said exactly CRM. Thank you, Ayomide. CRM, customer relations management, that system, that CRM, that application, right? It has a back end, right? It has. Thank you. I think some of you guys are giving me, are gingering me. I even forgotten about CRM, right? You've forgotten about CRM. It goes to the back end. So that's just that. So you don't need to go to all the branches, right? Okay. So I think we are good on this, right? Right now, one more thing we need to do. One more thing we need to do, and I want you guys to pay attention to this one too. Now, if you look at this query, right? When we run this query, from here now, we don't even know Lekki transaction. We don't even know Marina transaction, right? If you send this output now, if you union them together, right? You merge them together, or you append it, or whatever. I think it's append, right? You now send it to me, and you did the overall transaction, and I want you to do total transaction per branches. How do you do that? Maybe what you need to do, right, is to run it. Maybe run the Lekki, do it first, right? Run and Marina, do it. No, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. So what you need to do is what I'm going to show you now. I think you guys understand what I'm trying to say. Now you want to do your analysis based on branches. You want to run your analysis based on branches, right? But you've already union them together. So how do you know transactions? You want to query based on particular branches. So what we need to do is that we will now write a query that will now add one column that will add, you can call it store location or branches. We'll call it branches. Let's call it branches now. So let's look at it, right? So how to note transaction per each location. So I will just do, right, one, I just say select, right? I don't know if you guys understand what the scenario I'm trying to paint here. I want to know if you guys understand it. Can I get yes or no if you guys understand it? The scenario before I write the query. Right? So I said, based on the result here now, how do we know transaction for each branches? We don't know, right? Some people say yes, okay. So for those of you that are saying no, so let me repeat myself. Now, this is the output we have. We have customer ID, first name, last name, customer gender, age, address, transaction amount, right? We know this, right? And you did your analysis based on this. Maybe you've written a SQL query that gives you total amount, right? Total amount. Then you also run a query that gives you maybe customer for female customer 21 million, for male customer 40 million. So you've written transaction based on customer age, based on customer gender. Now you want to write a query that will give you transaction based on branches. Based on branches. And if you look at this column, sorry, this output, there's no information about branches. There's no information about branches. Now, so we want to create additional column. We'll now call the column, we can call it location or branches, right? So that's what we want to do. So I will now say, I will now say Lekki store. I will now say select Lekki store, right? Lekki store. Lekki store. So I'll call it as, can we call it branches or location? Let's call it branches, as branches, right? So I'm going to put it in bracket square as branches, right? So I'll do like that, right? Then I will now select customer ID, right? Comma, first name. So let's say, for instance, I want to change this first name to everything capital letter. If I want to do that, I want to change, let's make it capital letter so that our table will be beautiful, right? Now, the customer ID, I want to make everything capital letter. So I will say customer as customer ID, right? Comma. Now, I want to make, okay, sorry, let me put, right? So I want to make first name as, I want to make it capital letter. So I have to put it in bracket, capital letter, then I'll give space. I'll say first name, right? Then last name, then as last name. Sorry. Right? Then comma. Then I'll put age as age. Might not put it in a square bracket, right? Then address right, as, I'll put in a square bracket as address, right? Then transaction amount, right? Right. I'll put it in bracket. So I will remove that underscore. It will now become transaction amount, right? Then from Lekki, right? From here, from liter underscore Lekki. Right. Now, when I run this one now, right, it's not showing whether this transaction is from Lekki. If I export this now into Excel, I send it to my supervisor. Because say customer ID is not yeah, it doesn't mean, because I'm not separating it. If I want to separate, I have to put it look at the one I separate, I put it in a square bracket, right? But you can see it doesn't mean too. It doesn't mean, right? Yeah. But make sure anyone you want to separate, like last name now, you can say I separate them. So it's that one is a must, right? Like transaction amount, I separated it. So it's a must you put in the square bracket. It's a must. But anyone that is a single, like a single name, you don't need to put it in the square bracket. Now, if I run this now, it will create additional column called branches for me. Let's see it. So you can see it. You can see it. Let me even remove this underscore. There's no need. Right? So you can see it now. So if I export this in Excel now, I send it to my supervisor. It's not necessary we put them in brackets. I've said it. If I send it to my supervisor now, right, he will understand that this report is for Lekki store. This report is for what? Is for Lekki store, right? And if I want to do my analysis, I can do my analysis based on Lekki store, right? Then I can do the same thing. Let me just copy this, right? And say union all. Then I will paste it. Then this one will now be from Marina. Then I will change this one to Marina store. Right? Now, if I run this now, so you can see now, it is very easy for me now to now do my analysis based on branches, based on, oh, gender is not there. Oh, sorry. I omitted gender. Sorry, gender should be there now, right? Let me see. I think gender is after last name, right? So gender is not after last name, right? So I put customer gender. Customer gender. Right? As I'll put it in square brackets. So this one will now be all capital, customer, then gender, right? Aha. Oh, sorry. Right. Oh, sorry. Aha. Okay. So I'll just copy this. Now let me put in this one too. Right. Now let's run it again. Okay. So now with the look of this now, I can be able to do my analysis based on branches, based on customer gender, right? I can also do based on customer age, right? I can write if function. I can also do based on, I think at least with what information I have, right? I can do age, right? I think you guys understand, right? So that is what we're trying to achieve now, additional columns. Okay. I don't understand this union. No. You know, all is very simple. If you say you don't understand this last part, you guys don't worry. In our next class, I will also go over it again. This last part, right? This last part where we created additional column, right? We'll go over it again in our next class, right? But union and union, there's nothing. Let me just put like that. It's not. I'm not trying to. But union and union, you say select all, union or select this, execute. There's nothing special in union all and union. Please try to understand. I beg you, I'm on my knee begging you, try to understand. But we will do a recap in our next class. We'll do a recap, right? Someone say, why didn't we use author? You can't use author for this now. right? You don't see using author will take your time, because using author you have to now be filling it one after the other, right? So you can't use author for this. You can't use author for this, right? Okay. Can we just write gender instead of adding customer to it? Yeah, you can do that. You can just say as gender, right? I think some of you guys are thinking technically, right? Thank you. You can just say gender, right? You can just remove customer, right? As gender, customer gender as a gender, right? I think I like that, right? So, okay. Okay. So thank you everyone, right? See you guys next week. But please go over this. Go over, I will send the query, right? Go over the video, right? This ending part is not clear to some people, right? But in our next class, we'll go over it again, right? We'll go over it, right? So thank you, everyone.